Welcome back to Let's Talk Race in Ireland. I'm your host, Harrison Paul. Today, we're going to weigh in on a situation. The school teacher who allowed the students to undo his hair because he had an appointment the next day later after school. The internet was obviously divided over this matter and felt as if this teacher should have been in trouble for his actions. And I wanted to weigh in on this and actually use this topic to talk a little bit about what conversation I had today with a brother on the street. He's a brother who does a lot of good work, does knife crime, works on knife crime for boys in London and stuff like that. So it was nice to talk to that brother. It's always nice. It's always a long debate that my lady's always like, oh, can we go please? Because me and this guy can go on. But I told her I love that. I love brothers who from the bottom of our hearts, we're trying to figure out and crack the code of what the black community needs. Whether some believe it's finances, more finances. I believe it should be psychological before we give finances. I believe there's a psychological damage that no matter what you give the black man, no matter what foot ahead you give him, I don't believe we're psychologically healed as a community, not just as individuals who are able to apply themselves to certain roles. I mean, as a community. So I'm going to get into that. Let me not even tease too much of that right now. Let me just kind of quickly play the video of what happened with this guy. So basically, this guy found himself in a situation where a few weeks later, and this is why I think God loves him, honestly, there was a white teacher somewhere else in America who found himself allowing students to kind of be up in his hair, playing with his hair. And I'm gonna give you a little bit of what this guy said, and he was kind of like, "Hey, hold on a minute, like I lost my job, or you know what I mean, because of this." So listen to what he had to say.
What's got you pissed off today? I'll start. This is your sign to bedazzle your teacher's head. Roll the clip. Why is this man not being publicly executed like I was? There's a few subtle differences, but we essentially did the exact same thing. This man is getting his head bedazzled, so they're not even touching his hair, they're literally touching his scalp. I have a teacher with students in close proximity to him. He's clearly a good teacher. He's clearly built a bond with these students. They feel comfortable with him, similar to me. Through the school year, letting his kids have fun, probably at the end of class, like my video. Students' faces are shown in the video. It's all over the internet. Working arduously to try to find everything to destroy this man, like y'all did. Why are we not dragging this man through the mud like I was dragged through the mud? Before someone says it, everything that y'all tried to dig up about me was cap. I addressed every single thing that y'all tried to dig up about me to try to fit this narrative that I'm a monster. None of it held weight, and I addressed every single one of it. I've been transparent this entire time. I was never texting my students. People saw a video of me reading messages from my phone and automatically assumed that I was texting my students. They were emails, and I was reading my work email from my personal device. Next.
So that's all I'll play of it, but you guys can go and watch that if you have the time to watch it. And the main thing I saw here, because as we all do, we went to the comment section to read what the comments was, and there were people, and apparently he said in this clip also that, you know what I mean, I was being torn down by my own community, this, that, and the third. And I seen in the comment section of, black people really want to stand and say, no, accountability, blah, blah, blah. So we get the gist of all this. Now I'm going to go back into what I have to say about what a conversation I'm having with this brother. So this brother today was saying to me, and this is about this now. We're having a debate on whether or not, he says to me, bro, I've been seeing the work you've been doing. It's wonderful. But it's just complaining about the issue. I don't see you actually coming up with resolutions for the issue. And I really, really loved that, a lot of times people come to me about that. We need to think about capital and we need to think about this. And I'm going to put a picture up on the screen. I said I was going to put up in one of my last videos. Never did, but I'm going to put up now. It's a very funny picture of, you'll see it on the screen now. It says, just start a bank, bro. And it's obviously Gaddafi. And, and we act like these things are simple. And this picture, this meme is so, obviously it's not funny. It's real life, but it's really telling. It's just so well put of like, there is psychological damage within the black community. And he then went on to say, excuses. I said, no, it's true, and he made some advances with me, like, okay, review for the community, and let's start this business, or let's try to do this for Africa. And I just said, listen, where God has me right now, I feel like, especially with what I know, the psychological damage within the Negro, I have no interest in starting or trying to pump black businesses or anything like that. That may sound very strange. It may sound very weird, but I'm watching Dr. Umar struggling to get financed by black people. Like, yes, I'm talking about sports. I'm talking about whatever. I really, really understand. And if you understand, if you study black people and study our issues, you will understand that you believe Dr. Umar. Please follow me as this. Like, when I think about the fact that the state of Africa represents our community. My mother said in her book, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but she spoke about how we forget that our African leaders are also African people. And I can be honest with you and say that they have gone through the same conditioning we have gone through. Not everybody is a Thomas Sankara. Not everybody is a Kwame Nkrumah. And the same goes for us on the ground. There are few brothers I talked to, they tapped in like, bro, I'm on that wave you want. I do not know a number of black people, a good enough number of black people that I know if they were to go upwards, they would take the whole community with them. And I mean the rain and the storm and the insecurities that come with that. He was telling me, it doesn't matter if you're a coconut, there's a lot of people who won't show it on the outside, but behind closed doors, they'll show you, look what I'm doing for the community. Well, no, that's not good enough. We are trying to make it mainstream to be pro ourselves. I'll give you an example. Don't compare us to the Jewish community. Right now, if you think you're going to touch October 7th, try it. If you want to lose a job, try touch it. Try touch anything about Jewish people if you want to keep a job. If you work in a job company, and this is what I'm working for. But we will never make the world take us this seriously if we do not take ourselves this seriously. Hence why the African Americans have brought George Floyd, have brought everything. The only reason now we have Black Lives Matter, that people had to post black squares, people had to care, is because the African American community have been trailblazing for us globally to show, now to a degree the world knows, don't touch the black folks. It's still not good enough. We still need to get to where the Jews are. If you think you're going to play with the Chinese, and that represents the nation, brothers and sisters, when that mentality is, the nation are indoctrinated by a mentality, they operate on that, in that mode automatically. They automatically want to build wealth with each other. They automatically want to see the next black man win. They automatically know what we've gone through as a community. It is automatic. Until we heal, I told this brother, I said, wow, there's still phrases in Zimbabwe that say, oh, if you hurt somebody, you bumped into somebody, I've said this in 100 podcasts, and you bumped into him, and let's say I spilled my drink, and then you bumped into me, I spilled my drink. In Zimbabwe, they say, if I gave out to you and say, man, you made me spill my drink, you would respond to me and say, I didn't kill a white person. Like, I didn't do the worst thing that could be done. Can you imagine right now in Africa, sayings are still being said like that? Right now, there's still a worship of the white man in Africa. A white man can go into Africa and can make his way up to high places in the company that he did not work for quicker than a black person can. My mom is a qualified woman. She'll go over to Africa and there's someone who's less qualified than her because they're white. I spoke to another Nigerian brother. He said there was a dentist. He's a doctor. There was a doctor that was like a Turkish doctor, and they were doing certain procedures in a certain place, and everybody wanted to go to that doctor just because they knew that it was European, it was white. There is a conditioning that's in the Negro that I do not care if you gave us $1 trillion, and I refuse to believe that it's because we are not skilled and not capable. When black people knew the thing to do was to go and get degrees, you will find black people more degrees in the thermometer. You will find black people who are educated like up, down, left, and right. But now we have a bunch of educated people who are no use to us. This is when I will cue one of my favorite videos by Ari Khanna. Check this out. This is a brilliant video, and I want to also unpack this.
The most dangerous African of today is an African who is colonized, educated or not. What is our education doing to us? What have we done to undo the colonial education? I hear right here in Ghana, perfect example. There's not a single Kwame Nkrumah book that is required reading in the Ghanaian educational system. Whose problem is that? Most African countries, our educational system is still the colonial educational system. So what do you expect from the leaders that we have today if their education remains colonized? It is the educated who are refusing to challenge the status quo and speak on our behalf, educated or not.
So with this, I go back to the original point I was making with the brother who was unbraiding his hair. It is our community who love to tear each other down. I can guarantee you it's not white people in this moment trying to hold that man, hold him accountable. He did this. He even said it was my own community. And this is what I was trying to tell this brother today. I, especially as someone who has been, I believe God has called me to the psychology of the black man, I will know when I'm ready to pick up a different type of nail and hammer. Right now, I'm at the drawing board. And as we know, I'm a bit of a City fan. I'm a bit of a football fan, and more so, I'm a bit of a Pep Guardiola fan. And City have now done 4 in a row. And I was watching an interview by Rodri, and one of the main reasons I love Pep Guardiola, actually, and Rodri said this in the interview, and this is why I'm a huge Pep fan. And anybody who's not a football fan, you know, it's football. And Manchester City has won the Premier League for 4 times. So I'm really interested in success stories, mentalities, how someone becomes and I love Rodri said it, there's beautiful players everywhere. It's here. He has, and they all talked about, and I watched another interview of Alexander Trent, who plays for Liverpool, and he said there's something about them, when they get in that final third, they do not blink. When they get in that final, few rounds of the trophy, towards the trophy, and then their temperament, they do not blink. And I know it's because, anybody watch football again, it's because that crazy man who jumps up and down on the sideline. If you watch his interviews, he has a way of thinking that he has robotically put in, and that's what Trent said, robotically put into, and I'll put up on the screen for you guys to see it.
Arsenal experienced it last year. We've experienced it 2 or 3 times in the past as well. When you get into a title race with City, when it gets to the turn of the year, they are borderline perfect, and you can't really slip up and make mistakes. So, when you do lose those points and you give them the upper hand, and it's difficult because they don't really blink in those moments. They don't seem vulnerable. They don't seem like they're gonna drop points. It's like a well-oiled machine. It's what they do. They click, and there's no stopping them. So, to give them the advantage with 6 games to go is almost handing them the title, I think. All we can do is just be in a position to capitalise and hope that somebody does us a favour. And get our goal difference up, really.
He has robotically put into his players. So what I'm realizing, and what I believe God has put in my heart, and the miseducation of the Negro, they also said, if you control a man's thinking, Goodwin Carter, if you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about what that man does. If you can control a man's thinking, I'm going to put that on the screen also, you do not have to worry about that man's actions. I love the part that says if there is no back door, he will demand it. And his very nature will demand it. The black man has been indoctrinated by the white media and white power structure for so long to believe that he's incompetent, he's not enough, he's not a this, he's not a that, he's not beautiful. We are the only race where our women religiously wear a different texture to our own. Your hair is your crown, brothers and sisters. It's the thing everybody walks out at the beginning of the day and identifies who they are. You look at an Asian, you know that's an Asian. You look at a white woman, you know that's a white woman. We are the only race, and I don't say this to bash, I say we are under severe damage in our minds. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We are the race that dates outside of our race more than any other person because we were told that our women are not beautiful. And we believed it. And for us to believe it was, I guess I said this to this brother today. They needed the black man to believe he was nothing. Asian man still marries his woman and loves his woman majority of the time. Every other race loves their woman majority of the time. We believed our black women were apes and monkeys and didn't go after them. And he goes, what's that got to do? It's the problem. It's the problem. Mentality. Like they said today, you bring anybody in. You bring anybody in to try and win a trophy. They're going to throw it away. They're going to throw it away when things start getting tight at the final moment. Bring all the talent, all the capacity, mentality. And you know why? It's tight-knit. Let's talk about even the Jewish people right now. Tight-knit right now. Right now, things are very much on edge, but we are seeing how the Israeli people have indoctrinated the world for this whole time. They made us learn about Hitler. They made us know all these things. Until this very day, even though we're seeing crime in our face, we are being told if you dare call it a crime, what you're seeing in your face. Every presenters make sure they're going to open the newsletter with saying, do you condemn October 7th? We've seen how long goes October 7th? How many tragedies have happened since then? Do you think they would stay that loyal to a cause of black people if black people retaliated? You think they'd focus more on what happened to black people than our retaliation? Do you think they would do that for our community? But no, I want you to know that's not done for them by a favor. The Jewish people themselves have first held this pride for themselves. This is why Jewish money is made. This is how Jewish power is made. This is how Chinese power is made. This is how China power comes. Because they get their kids and they make them go outside and they get college, they go to wherever, they travel the world, but their heart is for China. They're not trying to wear any other flag on their chest. They're trying to wear their country on their chest. And when you think about what we've gone through, and you think about the task we have for rehabilitation, it is unacceptable where we see black people who are trying to assimilate to other cultures. And then at the end of the day, you point fingers and say our leaders this, our leaders that, when you've invested no real time into rehabilitating the culture. When you have invested no real time into loving a black woman and having a black family so you can make sure you can implement black children into this community to be black men who can be a positive outlook on our community. Don't talk to me about all the things you see that are wrong because you are just taking up what the master did. Point. Now you're parroting his mentality towards black people. Point. Where are you picking up a hammer? Where are you fixing psychology? So that's why I don't get offended when a brother's telling me you problem solving. No, when you are really digging deep and undoing everything, you realize we're going nowhere without a change of mind. Make sure you go and get my mother's book. Thank you, Mrs. G. A Colonial Mindset to Total Emancipation. My life has changed when I changed this. Everything I will go on to do, I couldn't have done it until I changed this. The way I think, who I love, how I operate, how I did. And it's the last thing I'll say before I sign off here. I see a lot of things online that when black men and women have made mistakes, black men and women have made mistakes. And guess what? I'm going to read that thing and I'm going to scroll on by. I'm a news person. I report on news. I give my take. I'm a social commentator. Definitely. But I'm going to scroll on by when that's a black man because we already got enough white people who are excited and drooling out of the mouth to bash and bang that man over the head and put on the news outlets. It don't have to be me too. It don't have to be me too in the comment section. That's for everyone. I'm going to put that out for you guys. It don't have to be me too. They're already going to drill from them out with the opportunity to do that. Their news channel, their CNNs, they do what's this, that, and the other. They're already going to drill out them out. I may not condone what they do, But to tear down a black man, I don't know. There's something about it. I just don't sit right with me. Maybe one day it will sit. I'm trying to build right now. I already know there's flaws within my community, and I'm going to address the things that I feel that, okay, can we fix this? Can we alter this? But for sheer just to shame and condone, no. I'll only come when I feel, let me give a constructive way that we can break it down. And I know black women are sometimes unhappy with the way I mention weaves and stuff like this. It's because I want to constructive build back, not just, this is we're trash, we're this and that. We've been told that for so long. The media told us that for so long. We're monkeys, uncivilized, on this for so long. Don't know about you. I'm sorry, guys. Call me biased. I just don't got it in me. I just don't got it in me. I see it enough. I see all the, maybe when you woke and you seeing all the little underhanded comments that white media do, news outlets to kind of jab at immigrants, jab at black people, jab at black and brown people, tear us down. I see that every day. I can't unsee what I see. I see what they're doing on the news outlets. Now when it's something happening and I see, okay, a black man really made a mistake, I'm going to join in on the party too. Even if I want to prove I'm impartial, I don't want to prove I'm impartial that much. I'm sorry. It may sound weird. I'm sorry. And another thing I'm going to let you know to show you, I got a lot of black people who ain't good to me. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I got a lot of black people who have some weird energy with me. Some weird, strange energy with me. People who I be giving love to, I be dapping them up, I be saying, what's up? And they give back like some hating energy. I push through, I'm going to bump that Negro again because I know he's indoctrinated with self-hate. And I'm on a mission to build a community. I'm so sorry. Even that Negro, you don't like me, it ain't about you, my brother. Don't get too gassed up. You see me greeting you all the time. You see me bumping you all the time. You see me staying. I feel your energy. I caught it. I'm not dumb. I caught it, my brother. I saw it. I caught your energy, my brother. I'm still going to love on you because it ain't about you. It's about that thing that's on your skin. It's about me wanting to rehabilitate what's been taken, the brokenness that's been in my community. It's about me doing this for the ancestors. It's not about you, my brother. It's not about you, my sister. You can keep on bashing me. You can keep on slapping me. You can keep on giving me the licks. It's not about you. It's about the black babies that are going to be born with the little bitty afros who have to grow up one day and learn that, oh, yeah, by the way, your hair is not beautiful. And you got to put on that thing called a wig when you go to work and you go to workplace because you're not that beautiful. And they're going to tell you it's because it's not kept or it's not this or it's not that. But we know the unspoken language. You know you got to Eurocentric yourself up a little bit to become beautiful. I do it for that. I do it for the brothers who think maybe if I get myself a white shorty, maybe if I get myself in white friend groups, I don't know. Look, I can go in all day about this stuff. But when we talk about this brother, I get what he's saying. And it just made me think about that brother I argue with today. We are in no shape or form should be talking about starting no damn businesses. We are in no shape or form. I'll be lying to you if I told you right now I've been thinking about shit. I go up at night, I wake up at night and I watch certain people on TV, black people who don't sold us out, who got the most, begging white people, aura about them on TV. And I'm thinking, oh, what's the point? For all the effort I put in, there's some Uncle Tom somewhere just brown in his nose. What's the point? What's the point? I get up, I go. I said one step at a time, one day at a time. So until I feel that the message, the mentality has seeped in to the team, the same way I can see it in the Jewish team, the same way I can see it in the Chinese team, then we'll be ready to then execute plans to take over, plans to rehabilitate, plans to get what we're worth of our gifts and our minerals and resources. This is why minerals are given away, like Dr. Ari Khanna said. Why do we expect more from our leaders when we know that even books like Kwame Nkrumah, one of our greatest revolutionaries, are not taught in Africa? Where do you think we're going? Absolutely nowhere. Where do you think we're going? What freedom do you think you're going to get? What minerals do you think you're going to be entitled to? Who you think you're going to overthrow? What revolution you going to have? When the kids you grazing, the next generation, you're not even teaching them about your greatest revolutionaries. And the only people we hold high and we praise and we give the the honor to, who is it? The people who they allow us to, the Nelson Mandelas, the Martin Luther Kings. Nobody who was a terrorist to them is allowed to be our hero. But guess what? They're allowed to still to lift up what's his name? Churchill. They're allowed to still lift up the people who were bad to us. Can we just think about maybe it was a different time and those mistakes, but they did great things for our country. And you just say, Uncle Tom, okay, that's fine. We'll let you do that. But the minute you got a brother like me, calm down, slow down, Harry. We don't want that kind of talk. That's why I know. Start a business with you. We're watching Jewish people right now. 30,000 people have been bombed October 7th. Indoctrinated to uplift their community. Look at you, what you doing. Someone just say boo. Someone say you canceled. Someone say whatever to you, black man. And you're going to run 10 miles from a black person who's doing pro-black movement extremely like how I am. I say just the white man, you're going to make sure I don't want to be seen liking that post. I want to be seen attached to him because he on some extra stuff. That's the community who's going to be able to go through the ups and downs. Look how the world is now. Look how, if you think of the world in a politics perspective, look at how they try to belittle China. Look how they try to belittle China. They try to put narratives on China. And they stick together through the ups and the downs, through the narratives. They love on each other. We do not have the capacity. We are far too broken to do that. It's not just the skill. We have the skill. We have the skill. We are the most skilled people I know. But it's going to be the ups and downs that's going to see the crack, where you're going to see a brother who's going to sell you out because he's too indoctrinated to think, oh, I'm not ready to go up against the white man. Anyway, I could go on and on and on. Thank you so much for watching. Really, I hope this brother gets his job back. To me, really, it just seemed like a teacher who was quite close with the students. Of course, now he knows we live in the West. I think something like that in Africa probably wouldn't have been such a big deal. We live in a Western world. People are very weird about certain things that they're not weird about in Africa, and he will learn that now. But definitely, I don't want the guy's livelihood to be taken from him the same way the white man's livelihood wasn't taken from him. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
And I'm on a mission for you.